Guys, welcome back to the series. Jamil and I have like literally 10 minutes before we're off to the next appointment. And we thought we'd sit down and go through some more Q&A in our masterclass series. If you guys are watching the series, then you know that we're doing all things agent for wholesaling. Exactly what you need to learn and do and know so that you can dominate that strategy. And Jamil and I are actually getting together in Puerto Rico doing a live event. It's gonna be so awesome. We have a few spots left. Go to jerryandjamil.com and sign up right now. It's gonna be an opportunity of a lifetime, literally small group setting, just Jamil and I, and high impact, high value on the phones, really we're gonna do like down in the weeds on how to do this at a very high level. Jamil and I both make millions of dollars a year doing the very thing we teach with agents.
Yeah, you'd be crazy not to go.
Yeah, like what are you thinking? Like get there. But we've got a list here. Bobby's compiled a list of questions that have come up throughout the series, and we want to hit a couple of these while we've got some time.
Yeah, let's get it.
So this is a great question here. Can you explain the benefits of becoming a real estate agent, being a wholesaler / investor? Now, keep in mind that you haven't done a deal yet and you're virtual. Is it beneficial or not?
Yep.
Okay, that's good context. I'm in the Florida market doing business from Indiana. So virtual in Florida. Okay, what's your take on it? License?
So I think having a license is always good, right? Because it automatically puts you into the same status as the agent you're calling, right? So if you're an agent, I'm like, hey, Jerry, it's Jamil from Remax over here. I'm calling because of this listing that you've got on such and such street. Now, I'm licensed in Arizona, and I see that you're in Kalispell, but regardless, I'm looking for something in your market right now that's in original condition or needing a lot of work. This house that you've got listed right now looks like one that I could definitely sink my teeth into, but I'm wondering, can you give me some more details about it, right? So immediately I'm at the same status level as the agent. They're no longer thinking investor. They're no longer thinking wholesaler. They're not worried about a single thing now because I'm licensed. Even though I'm not licensed in the same state, they still automatically align with me because I've done the same things as they've done. I've gone to the same schooling. I've got the credentials, all the things. It's like, cops love other cops. If you're a cop and you get pulled over, you just like show them your badge. They're like, get home. Yeah. You get that brotherly love, right? And so I think being licensed is always good. Yeah. Also, you don't have to worry about legislation or anything like that. Like, unless, in South Carolina, it's a different story, but being an agent definitely professionalizes you. And so I think it's always a good thing.
Yeah. To add to that, I would say in context to doing the agent model, you don't need it. If you're working on your first deal, I'd rather see you spend your time finding a deal than taking class and getting your license. That could be something you add later. Like Jamil said, there's all kinds of other benefits outside of the agent model. But guys, first things first, like you got to get a deal. You got to get proof of concept. You got to get some money in the bank. Like forget about the license right this second, and focus on quality conversation with agents, building relationships, making offers. That's your big priority. Don't get shiny object syndrome right now.
Yeah, don't use becoming an agent as a reason to procrastinate. That's creative avoidance. That's not taking action, okay? Taking action is getting on the phone right now. Later on, if you think a license is going to be helpful to you, do it then.
Yeah, this next question, I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's really long here, Jamil, but it's basically saying, hey, Jerry, I've seen you do a video about coming to a ballpark offer, right? Like you take some sort of algorithm, like the Zillow number, cut it in half or whatever, and is that a good strategy for high-price homes? So let's maybe break this down. When is it appropriate to do a deep dive analysis? You do this awesome show on your channel called Comping, or what's it called?
Straight Outta Comping.
Straight Outta Comping, and Jamil literally takes properties and shows you exactly how to comp them. It's a skill you have to learn. The better you learn it, the better you'll be at wholesaling and investing. It's to me, and I think you teach this quite a bit, it's what separates the boys from the men and the girls from the women, right? It's what makes you a real investor, because when you can understand and identify value and you can do it quickly, there's no stopping you because you can identify deals instantly.
Correct.
But sometimes we let analysis trip us up and people spend way too much time when really it's like, just put a number in front of them and see if they're motivated. You'll know by the response you get. And maybe then, once you identify there's motivation there, once you identify, hey, they might entertain that offer, now do a deeper dive.
Right.
Is that how you kind of look at it too?
Absolutely. And I think the other part about this is that, if you're going after properties that are close to retail, you're gonna run into problems, right? You really have to look for houses that are in original condition or needing a lot of work. Don't even bother writing offers or calling agents on houses that are already in good condition, because they're gonna say you're lowballing them, because you are. That's a lowball because your price is now way below what the property is worth, right? We pay as is value. We pay 100% of as is value. Our profit margin doesn't come from the equity in the property. Our profit margin comes from the potential of the forced appreciation. You gotta wrap your head around that. And that means that the house needs to have a potential gap. If it doesn't have a potential gap, it's not a wholesale deal. So keep skating. The other thing is that there's no such thing as an agent always giving you the same answer or always giving you flack. That means you haven't made enough calls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't say it doesn't work until you're 1,000 calls in, and then you'll be like, hey, this works.
Yep.
Because you've done the work. Next question here, moving quickly here, is earnest money, Jamil. What do you think about doing the earnest money due at the end of inspection if you don't have earnest money to put down?
I think it's a great idea, and I think that it's an easy pitch if you say, look, I do a lot of these, and I hate trapping up and getting, earnest money all over town. Having to track it down becomes a real hassle for me. I'm definitely interested in this property, but I would prefer to put my earnest money down at the end of the inspection once I know I'm moving forward with the deal.
Perfect. Great answer.
Right?
This one's about closing. It says, if you tell the agent we can close 30 days after the offer is accepted, and you find the buyer on, let's say, day 10 during inspection period, and the buyer asks for 30 days to close, now the deal is 10 days over the first interaction, right? So remember, guys, when you take it to the cash buyer and you're bringing them the deal, the cash buyer is going to agree to the terms you agreed to in the original contract. So you have to be able to explain to the buyer, hey, here's the deal, here's the number, and here's the terms of the offer, and if you can work within that parameter, we can do a deal. But if the cash buyer says, I need 30 days to close, and your contract only has 10 days or 20 days left, then that ain't gonna work, or you gotta go back and try to change that with your original seller, right, with the agent. So just always keep in mind, whatever the original contract is, your buyer is agreeing to that contract.
Right. And now I've had situations where buyers are like, hey, dude, I have money tied up. I'm not gonna get money out of this closing until this date, so I need extra time. This is what I do in that instance. I say, okay, cool. I need you locked in. I'm going to send you an assignment. I need you to lock in. I'm going to put the close of escrow date with the date that you want. And if I can't get you that date, I will let you out of the deal. I'll give you back your EMD and you're not stuck in it. But I'm not going back to the seller and getting an addendum to extend the close of escrow until you're locked in. Because once I do that, I'm going hard on my EMD too. So if we can make that a deal, then that's how we rock it. So I'll sign the assignment with the buyer. I'll get their earnest money in. The close date will be the date that they're asking for, so it's contingent on that. I then go back to the agent or the seller and I say, hey, we're good to go. I need a close of escrow 10 days, or I need the close of escrow 10 days out from what we have right now. I have some money I got to move around. It's going to take a little bit of time. And they're probably not going to have a problem with that. Yeah. And I put my ducks in a row over here on the other side, so I've compiled it in a way where it makes sense and it gets done.
Genius. Yeah, making all the parties align.
Yep.
This one says, how do I assign a contract when there's an agent in the deal? This is one I get all the time.
Yeah.
I think we've addressed this one too. But guys, remember, the agent's involvement is on the front end contract between you and the seller. They facilitate that. They're involved in that. Once you have a contract, the agent's job is done. Now, they might be involved in the closing or whatever, but what you do with your contract, since you have the right to assign it, is all up to you. They're not involved in your buyer. They're not involved in what you do from that point on. So literally, once you have that contract, it's just good old-fashioned wholesale real estate like normal.
Nothing changes.
You find your buyer, you do your assignment. That's it.
Yep.
Now, the agent might find out, or you might have to talk to him about it or whatever, but the mechanics don't change.
They don't. No. That was fun.
That was fast.
Fast and dirty. Guys, leave us a comment. If you have questions, Jerry and I are answering them. And also go to jerryandjamil.com and join us in Puerto Rico.
Let's go.